Good morning, everyone. My name, as Emma said, Nadia Bendjedou. I'm a Vice President of the Product Strategy part of the e-business suite development organization. And today I'm going to give you an update on the latest of the EBS product line, our strategy, and our roadmap going forward. So we have a fairly big agenda. I'm going to talk through some of these items here. First of all, let's start with the overall strategy. Our overall strategy is very clear. We continue to innovate and continue with the investment on behalf of our EBS customers, and we do that in a number of ways. Firstly, our strategic investment and our investment priorities really fall under three items, three categories, and this has been the case for a number of years now. So we work on enhancing the functionality, and this is what we call the functional innovation. And the stakeholder for that is really your business owner who really worries about and is interested in how much automation we can provide, how we improve the business processes, and so on. The second item would be the user experience and improving the mobility and user interaction. And the main stakeholder for that is the end user who uses the system every day. And finally, improving the operational efficiency, and that's really about improving the capabilities for your DBA and your system administrator, your developer, and so on. So this is what we call run and maintain capabilities. So all in all, we cover really all the three stakeholders in any organization: the business owner by improving the functionality, the end user by improving the user experience and mobility, and the DBA and your system administrator and your IT department in general through the operational efficiency. We are also listening to our customers, and we have put together back in 2014 a very transparent system and platform that allows customers to submit their enhancement requests, their ideas through social media, that customers around the world will vote on the idea, and the higher the vote is, the better chance our development considers it into a new feature in the product. Those enhancement requests usually fall into the product features, product enhancement, as well as technology improvement. If you are not familiar with the concept of the ideation or the idea space or they are actually available on my Oracle support communities. You see the link at the bottom of the screen. We have about 33 communities available today, and we keep adding new communities as we go along and as we see fit. Within the 33 communities, you see a community for financial, community for procurement, community for HCM, community for manufacturing, and so on. And up to now, we have, too recently, the last time I looked at the numbers, since the creation of the most communities back in 2014, we have incepted about 6,500 ideas and enhancement requests. There are about 14,000 plus users, and there are over 100,000 comments about those ideas. So every time our development team starts a new release, one of the first things we do, go compile all the ideas from my Oracle support communities, evaluate them, and see how we can make them part of the next release of the EBS product. So I'm not saying every feature, every enhancement request gets into the product, but this is actually our very transparent social media platform to help customers submit their ideas, enhancement, other customers vote on it. Our development work directly with the customers to get better detail about the enhancement request and see if we can add it into next release. So that is how we listen to our customers. So all these enhancement, whether it's coming from our strategic priorities or they are coming from customers' voice, those enhancements usually come into the next releases of the EBS product. You see today, the EBS release is the 12.2, is the release that really customers should be on, or at least that's the best place to be in. The latest release of EBS 12.2 is 12.2.10 that came in September 2020. And we are already working on the next update, which is 12.2.11. It has already, the work has started. Most customers and most people expect that release to be within the next 12 months. It's not a commitment, but it's more or less an expectation from our customers, and hopefully we can fulfill that expectation, although it's not a commitment or written somewhere black on white that EBS brings a new release every 12 months, but it is expected, and we like doing that. In addition to the core of the EBS release cycle, we also have a new innovation called the ECC, which stands for Enterprise Command Centers. The Enterprise Command Centers have started, this is a new initiative that started back in, the first release started in October 2018. And you see that we have already delivered 5 releases so far, approximately 2 releases per year. The reason we made ECC as an add-on and not included in EBS 12.2.10, for example, for 2 reasons. First, because the ECC development cycle is very aggressive. We are making at least 2 releases per year, and we really don't want to stop or reduce or limit the innovation in ECC and wait until next release to bring in new modules in the ECC. We really want to continue with this momentum we have started, and very aggressive 2 releases per year, and we want to continue with that. So that's one thing. The other reason is that we want to make sure that all customers are on 12.2.4 onwards can benefit from ECC. So you really don't need to upgrade your EBS from 12.2.4, or let's say you are running 12.2.5, you don't need to go all the way and update to 12.2.10 to get the latest release of ECC. So that is a very, very high value proposition why ECC is a separate add-on. So ECC that came in September can be applied to EBS 12.2.5. You don't need to update it to 12.2.10. And also any ECC that we deliver not only is applicable to all previous releases of EBS starting 12.2.4, but also applicable to all future releases of eBusiness Suite. So it's the flexibility of having its independence from a release cycle is twofold: aggressive development cycle and the independence of the EBS release. You don't need to update or upgrade your EBS to get the latest ECC. So we could talk about ECC later on. So that was from a functional innovation, how we bring the feature function into the EBS product. It will always come in the 12.2 release cycle. Now, on the technology side, we also working on the technology aspect of the eBusiness Suite. The EBS 12.2, we call it the continuous innovation release. It's the release that all the innovation will come on the top of the 12.2, but also what we are doing from a technology platform, i.e. the underpinning foundation of EBS can be updated without a major upgrade. If you look at our history in EBS, for example, when you move from one major release to another like that, for example, moving from 11.5.10 to 12.1.3 and from 12.1.3 to 12.2, it's a major upgrade in the respect of there is a rapid install. Whenever you change the tech stack underneath EBS, there is a rapid install, which means you update your application code as well, which is challenging for customers, especially if they have done a lot of customization. So if we take an example, a customer who has been running 11.5.10, they are running the application server 10.1022. And to go, for example, this customer upgrades to 12.1.3, and the application server underneath the 12.1 is application server 10G, and that is why we do a 12.1 and not 11.5.11, for example. Now, a customer who has upgraded to 12.1.3, we're running an application server 10G, and let's say now they are interested in moving to EBS 12.2, and because we moved a technology stack in 12.2, that's an upgrade, means a rapid install. And therefore, you go from a 12.1.3 to 12.2.3, then you update to 12.2.9. Now, what we are saying is, once you are on a 12.2, you are not going to run another rapid install again. You are not going to do another upgrade again. You will do updates going from 12.2.10, 12.2.7 to 12.2.8 to 12.2.9, 12.2.10, but not necessarily doing a rapid install. So let's say you are running 12.2.9 today with the Fusion middleware 11G. Let's say in 2023, we update our technology platform, the foundation, and we uptake a future release of the Fusion middleware. Let's call it Fusion middleware 2022. We can still give you the Fusion middleware 2022, and you still stay on EBS 12.2.9. This is something we have never been able to do in the past. When you move the technology underneath, you go to a new release of EBS from 12.1 to 12.2, for example. Now we said you will still always stay in 12.2 no matter what, even though we update the Fusion middleware underneath. So this is what we call delivering the technology stack updates. So it's not an upgrade, it's an update without the effort and the cost of a major upgrade, like when you do from 11.5.10 to 12.1, from 12.1 to 12.2. This is why, again, why we call EBS 12.2 the continuous innovation release. Now, so from a timeline of the EBS, 12.2, again, is the release to be on for a number of reasons. It's just the release that has the longest and the long-term support policy with the premier support through at least 2031. We have, if you asked me back in February this year, 2020, the support timeline was at the time at 2030. In March, during the COVID, the confinement, we actually updated that to 2031. And we review this date every year and expect some changes. So please watch out, stay tuned. In February, March, April timeframe 2021, we will probably review it, and we probably announce new dates if necessary. So today it's at least 2031 with a minimum of 10 years rolling premium support, which means that EBS customers will always have a 10 years premium support no matter what decision Oracle will make in the future. So you always have a 10 years to do upgrade or move to another product, let's say ERP Cloud and so on, and you have always 10 years in your hand. Now, so what does it mean from a support timeline for our customers who are running 12.1? So we already explained the support timeline for 12.2, which is at least 2031. For EBS customers who are still running 12.1, please note that the premium support for 12.1.3 is December 2021, which means customers who are still on 12.1, please make sure you start working on a project to move away from 12.1. That project could be upgrading to 12.2, could be moving to doing a transformation to Fusion ERP Cloud and so on. Whatever project you want to go, whatever future project and vision you have for your environment, please make sure that could be done and should be done by December 2021. Now, let's say you are not going to make the date of December 2021. What will happen for EBS customers running on 12.1.3 beyond December 2021? Of course, Oracle is not going to leave you behind. So we want to make sure we give you some some kind of support to be able to finish your project. Now, after December 2021, Oracle is providing a support. We call it market-driven support. It's powered and it's going to be available by our ACS organization. And that support will be available for 2022 and 2023. That support is really meant to help customers operate in stable operation while you are completing the project. That again, completing the project, upgrading to 12.2 or going to ERP Cloud. The MDS offering will include Severity 1 and Severity 2 bug fixing, as well as security updates. It will have a minimum code level requirement. It will have a minimum infrastructure requirement. Some of the products are excluded from the MDS because they are in control availability and they are not really being sold or being added into new implementation, and therefore they are not really needed to be part of the MDS. The pricing for this offering is based on a tiered price structure, which is more or less based on how much you pay for EBS support contract today. If you need to know, if you think you are not going to finish your project before December 2021, I urge you to contact your EBS rep or your ACS rep to discuss the MDS offering if it is something that you will need. Okay, so also from a planning perspective, you are running EBS, whether it's 12.1 or 12.2 release of EBS, you probably are running either the database 11.2 or 12C. And obviously the timeline for those database releases are coming to an end very quickly, especially for 11GR2. It's important that you plan accurately and properly your upgrade database to 19C. 19C is certified both for 12.1 and 12.2. There are Metalink notes available on the screen, so please make sure you start planning for your upgrade to 19C. So let's a little bit go into the support timeline for the database side, although it's not an EBS specific question, but from a support perspective, the database 12.1, also known as 12C, which is what is supported by EBS. The extended support ends in July 31st, 2022. So technically speaking, you have really plenty of time if you are running a 12C database. In addition, we made sure that the extended support uplift fees that you need to pay usually in an extended support policy are in fact waived for EBS customers for a 12C database. So which means the uplift fees of being on extended support policy, the fees, or we call it the penalty or the uplift fees, have been waived for EBS environment for a 12C database. Now, for 11GR2, i.e. 11.2, officially the extended support ends in December 31st, 2020, which is the end of this year. And the extended fees in the same way for 12C database have been extended throughout the extended support period for EBS environment. But the extended support will end in December 31st, 2020. Again, for customers who are not going to be able to make that deadline, the Oracle has put together also an MDS offering to support customers running on 11GR database after December 2020. Again, if you are in need of such a support, special support, you need to contact your database rep or your ACS rep to get more detail about this offering for the database. There is also a Metalink notes on the screen that really explains the detail I have briefly discussed. Now, so that's on the overall EBS strategy. Let's drill down a little bit on the ongoing investment we do in the product. Of course, I don't have hours or days, so I'm going to limit it to very, very small portion of the in innovation of 12.2. So 12.2 across the suite and the 12, any feature in the 12.2 you see today is news to 11i customers, it's news to 12.1 customers. So you know EBS is a very comprehensive, very global, very functional suite that ranges from financial or the management, procurement, manufacturing, asset, human capital, etc. So it's a fairly comprehensive product. The 12.2, that's why I will not be able to talk about all the innovation we have done in 12.2. But the things that are really a signature feature for EBS is 12.2. Is really the online patching. The online patching is the capability that allows you to patch your system while your users are running the system. We have done that because of the requirement from warehousing customers, for customers who do manufacturing and cannot really shut down their manufacturing plant or their warehouse system for patching for longer than planned short time. So for those customers, online patching was very, very much a must solution. So that's why we added in the initial release of 12.2. We also incorporated the WebLogic server as a technology to run our HTML applications. In addition, of course, to those signature features, of course, every update of EBS 12.2, going from 12.2.3, 12.2.4, 12.2.5, all the way to 12.2.10 today, there are features and news in every functional area. And also we have improved the user experience. So basically to talk about the whole EBS needs quite a few days. So just very quickly, online patching was there to make sure that the users continue to run while your DBA is patching. This is quite innovation, actually. I mean, in the history of EBS, on the history on ERP system in general, you are when you are patching, when you are upgrading, the system is down. You know, it's customers and the users cannot have access to the system while your DBA is patching. But this innovation allowed customers to do the patching while the system is up and running. And there is a very short cutover, we call it the cutover period, that allows your DBA to switch the application key and bring it up to be fully patched, to connect to the fully patched environment. And that maintenance window, we call it the cutover, is very predictable, and it's always the same. So you know exactly if you need half an hour, then it will be always half an hour. Most customers, they really need between 25 minutes and half an hour. But some customers may need more depending on what else you do during that cutover period. Maybe you apply your customization if you don't want to allow Oracle to apply your customization as if it is a patch from Oracle. So you basically, the maintenance window is very predictable, and that is really the point here. Now, from an EB, in addition to online patching, I said there are so many feature functions that we add with every update of EBS. This is just an eye chart. I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm not expecting you to read it all, but this is just to show that we do have lots of other features beyond the online patching. And to tell you the truth, this slide has not been updated with the latest of 12.2.10 either. I don't have space in the screen, and it's just really an indication there are lots of features in all the functional area of the e-business suite. Now, if you need to know about all those features, the best place to review that is the document called the e-business suite release content document. As an abbreviation, you hear us talk RCD. Document ID is also supplied on the screen. We have about 16 RCDs, so basically one RCD per product family. For example, on the screen, I'm showing the RCD for the order management and contract. And the RCD is organized by by product within a product family. It's organized by release and by feature. And then the features will be highlighted per release. So for example, if I look at the order management and contract RCD, if I go to the section which shows 12.2, release 12.2, you see all the features. It's almost like an inventory of the features. It shows you what's new in 12.2, what's new in 12.2.3, 12.2.4, 12.2.5, all the way to 12.2.10. It's a cumulative document, what we call a living document. You will find all the features of 12.1, all the features of 12.2 per release, per product, per product family. It's an inventory. Basically, you go to the feature, a small description of the feature. But if you want to implement it, if you want to know more about it, if you want to see how it helps you, what's the business value of it, why have we developed that feature, and how it is more or less set up and implemented, definitely you would need to go to what we call a TOI. A TOI is a transfer of information. It's online training. It's free. It helps you implement and use the feature. We have a business value. We have the user flows, how you set up the flow. And basically, it's done by our development organization. So it's really, you are hearing the developer themselves talking about their feature and how to set it up. Okay, so we talked about online patching. We talked about the feature function in 12.2 and how you can access to those training and training material. Now let's talk a little bit about how we improved in 12.2 the user experience. We have done it really in two ways. First, on the right-hand side, we talked about since the beginning of 12.2 how we improved the user interface, the user experience, and mobility. And on the left-hand side is what I discussed earlier, the enterprise command centers, which we have added in October 2018, and we have now 5 releases already. So I'm not going to talk about the user interface and the user experience that we have been really explaining over the years since 12.2.4. Because of the time, I'm going to focus more on the latest, which is the enterprise command centers. The enterprise command centers is really about a set of dashboard that we provide in many functional area, if not all. It's what we call a information-driven navigation. It's a new way of using the system. So it's about identifying an issue in the system, in your operational system, and see how you can act on that issue and see if you can solve that issue. So this is really what we call about the enterprise command center. It's you browse and drill down on actionable indicators. You use what we call consumer-like search and filters like you do on Amazon. It calculates the data and recalculates depending on how you drill down into the data. This is really what we call a new way of using the EBS today. I provided the 2 links that are fundamental. The first one is ECC Quick Start Guide. Basically, you click on that and it tells you everything you need to know about ECC. The second link, it's really about how you can extend and customize ECC. It's often when we show people the ECC, the very first question we get is, can I customize it? And yes, you can customize it. And the extended ECC guide, it's about 100 pages on how you can customize and extend ECC for your area. So with the latest release of ECC, the September 2020, now we have 30 command centers with 100 plus dashboard across the suite. You see the areas where we provide the command centers in financial, procurement, project, order management, logistic, manufacturing, asset lifecycle, as well as service module and human capital. So more or less every area of EBS is really covered by a number, 1 or 2 command centers. While we have 30 command centers, we have over 100 dashboards, which means some of the command centers have 1 dashboard, some of the command centers have probably 2 or 3 dashboards. So depending on the business functionality we are covering. Just if you are familiar with the command centers, but not the latest one, the September release, in September, we added the 8 new command centers with 30 new dashboard, and we enhanced existing dashboard and the foundation across the command centers. So this is just an indication what we have done in the last, we call it release version 5 of the command center, but most likely you hear people talk about the September release, September 2020 release. So the command centers supports EBS 12.2.4 and above, which means 12.2.4, 12.2.5, all the way to all the EBS releases after the 12, including the 12.2.4. There is no extra cost. We are not trying to sell you a new solution. There is no license fees impacted here. So basically, whatever you use the command center for the product you already own. If you have EBS Financial, you get for free the command centers for financial and so on. So there is no extra cost from a licensing perspective. It does integrate with, although it's a separate release cycle, it's a patch you download, but really it integrates with EBS. It is part of EBS. It is an EBS solution. The ECC pages are actually rendered within the EBS OAF framework. Within the EBS menu navigation, it's not something separate. It is embedded. You don't even see as a different solution. You drill down all the way to the transaction, and that is another beauty of the ECC, because we are talking about the operational system. We are not talking about data warehousing. Obviously, customers who have BI apps and have a data warehouse, that's not, doesn't replace that. Data warehousing have a different purpose. BI apps is usually about analyzing trends, analyzing history. It's about data warehouse. There is no drill down to the operational system. This is running on the operational system itself. And because it's part of EBS, it actually inherits the EBS security policy that you have set up in EBS. Not only it inherits the security policies, it honors the security policies at the functional level, at the data level, at the record level. So this is, you are not setting up a new BI system where you need to set up your security policies. It's all included already, inherited and honored by ECC. It supports every language that EBS supports, including bidirectional languages like Hebrew and like Arabic. So fully supports all the languages of EBS. As I said early on, yes, EBS ECC is something you can extend, you can tailor, you can customize. And if you see here, the ECC page is usually about a page similar to this. This is a typical page where you have the attributes and the metadata on the left, where you can refine and filter and search. Then in the middle of the screen of the ECC, you have the summarization bar, which includes all your KPIs, the tag cloud, the chart section, as well as the table of the results. And every section here on the screen is customizable and extendable. Again, I talked about the document, which I gave previously, the link, about 100 pages, how you can extend and customize ECC. Now let's do for those who are not familiar with ECC, let me do a very quick demo of ECC. I do two demos, one in a financial area, which is used by every EBS customer, and the other one I will do of iProcurement. So in the receivable command center, instead of talking about it, which is basically the value proposition here, I'm going to show the demo right away. So when you come to, as a receivable professional, your job is to identify the outstanding receivable, which customers have not been paying their invoices, etc. So you come in and now you connect to your ECC command centers for receivable. You see the screen where on the left-hand side, you have all the refinement and filtering and searching. And I'm not going to even go there because the system will tell me where to focus my energy today. I don't need to search. The system tells me where to focus today. So here on the summarization bar, I see all the KPIs. I have one ledger, I have one currency in this example. I see immediately my outstanding balances. I see the past due balances, I see the current balances, and so on. So the next component on my screen, I see I see some graphs. On the right-hand side, it shows me the top past due customers, i.e. the top customers who have a past due balances of receivable. And I see there is a big bar that is associated to a customer called Hillman and Associate. Hillman Associate has big invoices that are unpaid. Is that a good time for me to call them right away? Not really, because those invoices, you may have sent those invoices last week. They could be like yesterday. You send those invoices. That's not really a good reason to call the customer right away. I think it's better to review on the left-hand side the bars where I'm going to start and focus on customers. I see there is a big bar of customers for operating unit division operation that has a big bar that over 90 days overdue. So I'm not going to talk about the 30 days overview or the 60 days overview or the 90 days overview. I'm going to focus on over 90 days, what we call the aging receivable. When I click on that big blue bar over 90 days, the screen will recompute itself, and it will only shows the past due customers that are over 90 days. So on the graph on the left is now over 90 days only. On the right, it has recalculated and showed me only the top past due customers over 90 days. You see on the left-hand side, it immediately populated the refinement to 90 days. Now you see here the outstanding receivable, aging buckets on the left, it says over 90 days. I didn't type it, I didn't search it. I just clicked on a bar that automatically populated the refinement area. Now, I noticed that Hillman Associate is not the top due customer. It's actually AC Network. So I realized that AC Network, as well as computer services and so on, those customers are now the ones who I see they are in the aging bucket of over 90 days. So I'm going to click on AC Network. When I click on the AC Network, now going to recalculate and will focus only on the receivable of that particular customer. Now, the component in the middle, it shows me the aging 90 days, and it shows me only the customer AC Network, because that's what I'm going to focus on. And at the bottom of the screen, you see now the transaction themselves for the receivable for the AC Network. You see here, I can filter or can sort those transactions. Let's say if I'm going to click on the preview link of the highest invoice, if I click on that, it takes me and shows me the invoice itself, which is amount of 1,599, which is the top invoice that I send the customer, that is 90 days has not been paid. So with now 3 clicks away, you did not know where to focus your day. You did not know the aging 90 days. You did not know the 30 days, the 60 days, and so on. You did not know which customers are the ones who are not paying, and so on. This is really, with the 3 clicks away, I did not generate an operational report. I did not put them in Excel. I didn't do any of that. All of that done interactively online without me searching or anything. I'm just following the system. The system is guiding me through the navigation, and it allows me without any spending time going through operational Excel reports. So this is the beauty of the ECC in a system, in an ERP system. Let's now switch gear and move into them where it is really not transactional the way you have seen in financial, but more on your everyday users who are shopping on iProcurement. So hopefully I will show you here that shopping in iProcurement is like shopping on Amazon, and I can assure you for that. So here is your iProcurement employee wants to buy a monitor. So this is basically when you come to iProcurement with ECC, you have this screen which shows you on the top the popular categories like you would see in Amazon. Here you have about 5 popular categories. You have this the next component, your frequently requested item. So the popular categories and the frequently requested items are for your organization, for your team. If you're manager, you will see that your team has been using those popular categories and have been ordering those items as frequently requested items. As an employee, you could also see your own requisition at the bottom. So just as you shop on Amazon, when you shop on Amazon, you go to a what we call a department. Exactly the same in iProcurement. In iProcurement, you have shopping categories. Those shopping categories come from your iProcurement system. They are displayed as they are in your procurement system. Let's say you really don't want to select any category. I'm just going to type, I'm interested in buying a new monitor. I just type a monitor on the search criteria. And in fact, if it was a live system, every time you type a letter, it suggests the following words. So, here you cannot see it, unfortunately, because it's not a live system. Now let's search for the monitor. When you type a search for a monitor, you're automatically on the left-hand side in the search criteria, you see your search is monitor. I did not type it. It was as soon as I typed at the search at the beginning, it automatically populates your selected refinements area. Now, your system has, let's say, 3 monitors in your iProcurement. If they have pictures, you will see the pictures of the item, but also gives you a lot of information that helps you make a decision on what monitor you are interested in. And it gives you a lot of hints. So for example, here it shows you 2 things about rating. It shows you the item rating and the supplier rating. The item rating is actually a new feature that we have developed in EBS 12.2.7. So now it's highlighted in ECC, which means if you are using 12.2.5, you will not see the item rating because it's a feature in 12.2.7 as a core functionality. You still see the ECC, but you probably will not see the item rating because that was not included prior to 12.2.7. So item rating is basically your employees rating the product. There is also supplier rating, which comes from your procurement system, which is basically how the supplier are being rated, the rating of your supplier. You see also some of the information like, is this item in the catalog? You see that book, like crossed book, which means this item is not in the catalog. We call off catalog item. There is a leaf that shows that this supplier is a green supplier. The next icon, it shows that this item is an energy saver or not. And the next icon shows the favor. So this is something like a preferred item in your team. You can as you do in Amazon. I personally don't buy anything on Amazon unless I review the rating of the product. So you can review all the comments from your employees because it's item rating. And once you are done, you can come back and maybe select, want to compare. You want to compare those 2, the first one and the third one monitors, because you really don't know which one you choose. So you selected 2 monitors and click on compare button, and that shows you the list of attributes that are different, highlighted in blue, which is easier to identify what is different. If the attributes are the same, you really don't need to investigate them. You want to investigate what is different. So once you figure out which one you want, you can add it immediately to cart. You don't, without going back to the previous screen, you add it to cart, and then your shopping cart is now complete. Just for your review, maybe you review your shipping detail or billing detail. If everything is defaulted, you can just submit your requisition as an employee. So this is exactly what you shop on Amazon today. So we brought the shopping experience from internet shopping to an ERP system like the iProcurement. So this is on just quickly on the enhancement we added in EBS. The last section I would like to focus on a little bit is EBS on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, which is one of the investment we are doing for our EBS customers. So what do we mean by EBS on OCI? It's often people say, what do you mean you are putting EBS on the cloud? Is that the SaaS? Is that the Fusion? Is that the ERP cloud? Actually, none of that. It's the same EBS that you are running today. So that's why it's EBS that you know. It's the same EBS you already have the license for. So you own the EBS. It's not a new product. It's the same product, EBS. It's the same product. Also, people said, well, I really don't want to do the cloud because I lose my customization. I cannot customize in the cloud. But then again, bear in mind, this is still EBS, which means it's a fully customizable product. It's your customization that you have done on premises will go with you when you are moving to put EBS on the OCI, on the cloud infrastructure. You can continue to customize EBS the same way you have been customizing over the years. It's the same EBS that you may have integrated. I'm sure that we know that EBS is not the only application you run in your organization, and therefore many of you have integrated third-party product technologies into EBS. So when you do that and you want to put EBS on OCI and everything else stays behind on-prem, the idea is to put a VPN between your data center and Oracle data center. In a way, you make a Oracle data center like extended data center to your company, to your organization, and your integration will continue to work as it was before. Many customers evaluate this time to move some of the integration with EBS. So if you have a tight integration with the like a billing system or a system that is very close that you want to keep it with EBS, some people actually move those also to OCI. But it's a question of timing. Is this the right time? And maybe you do those slowly but surely. Now, what are the use cases that customers have been adopting OCI for EBS? There are actually very good number of use cases. Most people start with a non-production environment like a dev environment, test environment, UAT, training, and so on. Some customers, which surprised me, actually started with the DR solution because they feel like their DR on-prem is not a very optimum solution, and they prefer to, it's system that is not impacting your primary system, your production environment. It's something you add at along the side, so people doesn't disturb your on-prem production system. You add that on the DR, you add it on OCI. So it has become very, very popular use case. Of course, backup and restore, people start to think about backing up into tape is not necessarily something you would want to do in 2020. So people start using backup on OCI and restoring and provisioning from a backup. And of course, the ultimate game here is for most customers is moving their on-prem production environment to OCI once they get the confidence and the experience and the skills to do so. So all of those use cases, and we have all of those use cases today already. So what are we doing in EBS? And when I said we invest from EBS on behalf of our EBS customers in OCI, what does it mean investing in OCI? Basically, we are providing an extra layer of automation. We're trying to make sure that OCI is the best platform, is the most optimized platform for EBS workload. In addition to the greatest capabilities in the platform itself, like the infrastructure as a service as well as database as a service, those really on the technology platform that they are multi-purpose for all workload. But for EBS in particular, we added an extra layer of investment, which is the EBS automation that that helps customers do the lift and shift, do the run and maintain, do the provisioning, do the backup and restore, do the cloning, and do the monitoring and all of that. So all of this, what we call area of investment. I mean, I'm not saying every single thing on this slide, we have it already available and cooked at 100%, but we have done a lot for the last 4 years. We started this journey back in 2016 when Oracle opened the first data center. We started the journey 4 years ago, and I'm happy to say we have achieved a lot, and we have many customers who are doing this on OCI already. Now, all of this automation that I've talked about, it's actually manifests itself with a tool called the eBusiness Suite Cloud Manager, which you see here is available both for 12.1.3 customers as well as 12.2 customers. The latest release of the EBS Cloud Manager, it's called Cloud Manager 21.1.2, the latest update, and the 12 Manager 21 was really the 19C certification release, if I may call it. We certify 19C for provisioning, for one-click provisioning, for the marketplace image, for advanced provisioning, for compute, for a database on PaaS, whether it's a VMDB, single node, or a rack. We can provision EBS with 19C with Exadata. We could do a lift and shift with 19C. Lots of things have already been achieved in 19C certification. We also improved our backup and restore in addition to certifying the backup to 19C database and so on. So there are lots of features in 21.1. We are about to release 22.1. Watch the space. Maybe by the time you see this recording, the EBS Cloud Manager 22.1 is already out. So just watch out this, and there will be more news on the latest and the greatest of EBS Cloud Manager. So lots of people said, so what's unique about OCI for EBS customers? Amazon Web Services existed for much longer than OCI. That is absolutely true. It's a very valid question, a very valid comment. Without a doubt, the work we are doing on OCI from an EBS perspective is unique to OCI. Everything we do with the automation is only for OCI, whether it's the Cloud Manager as well as the backup utility to support the lift and shift, to support the lifecycle management. That automation is only certified, supported, and tested for OCI. In addition, the database as a service, which is 99% of our customers run their database not on compute, but they run it on database as a service, whether it's a VMDB single node, VMDB rack, or Exadata. All that work is unique to OCI. Autonomous is something planned. We are working on that. It's one of the highest priority to certify EBS on autonomous. Again, that will be unique to OCI. The cloud economics, this is something probably our OCI team can talk more intelligently about it, to compare the cost combined with the performance that actually bypassed what customers are getting with AWS. Many customers, when they moved from AWS, which is more or less like infrastructure service only, moved their EBS environment, and actually they gained substantially in reducing the cost and enhanced their compute performance platform. So it is definitely about the cloud economics, cost comparison, and performance comparison. Oracle, on Oracle, it's unique to OCI. Oracle owns the infrastructure, yes. Oracle owns the database as a service, and Oracle owns the application, and therefore the value proposition of which is unique also to Oracle and unique to OCI is Oracle and Oracle. That is really some of the value proposition why EBS on OCI is no-brainer. We work and make sure that OCI is the most performant, the most optimized platform for EBS with all the automation we are providing. As I said, the EBS Cloud Manager release, new release is coming along. Please follow us on our blog as well as on our learning channel. My colleague Santiago has made available a blog article that discusses how you could do a virtual hands-on, following step by step how you can use the Cloud Manager. It's all available, it's all free. Just go ahead and use your trial license or free trial of OCI to do your hands-on lab experience. With that, I come to the last of my slides, which is really where you get more and how you learn about EBS in general. If you are not sure who is your EBS application rep, then please connect with contact our organization through those email IDs, whether you are in Asia Pac or EMEA or North America. Someone will get back to you and gives you the name of your EBS account rep. To learn more about EBS, it's oracle.com/EBS with all our strategy deck, our roadmap, our feature function, our enhancements, our product information training, all available from one single page, which is oracle.com/EBS. We have two types of learning and training. On the right-hand side, I talked about the TOI, which is transfer of information training on how you implement new features. That is what we call a EBS Learning Center, and that's oracle.com/EBS-learn. On the left-hand side is really the material and the assets and the videos and presentation we do in conferences like this one, for example. You see them also available free of charge directly from EBS development through learn.oracle.com/subscriptions/EBS. Don't worry about the word subscription. You are not paying anything. Those are free of charge as well. With that, I'd like to leave you with some takeaways. EBS 12.2 is the place to be. It's the continuous innovation release. It provides online patching. Online patching. It gives you access to the ECC. It has 10 more years of innovation above the 12.1. A long continuous innovation enhancement from a functional perspective, from a technology modernization, and of course, a long-term premium support. If you are still running on EBS 12.1, it's time to start your project. It's important that you move away from 12.1, beyond the 12.1, because of the premium support for EBS 12.1 ends in December 2021, and beyond that, you can get your MDS support through our ACS organization. Often people says, where is the extended support for EBS 12.1? It's actually been converted. The extended support for EBS has been converted to premium support and actually added 2 more years. So in fact, the extended support, which is 3 years, we added 2 extra years, which means we gave you 5 more years from extended, and we converted that into premium support. So basically, by December 2021, not only you used up the premium support, but you have actually gained another 5 years in premium support as extra. With that, hopefully you find this session useful for you. Thank you very much.